Okay, so in today's class, we are going to cover a transparent mode firewall. What is transparent mode firewall? How does it work? And what are the different modes of firewall? We will also discuss it. There are mainly two modes available in a FortiGate firewall. One, we call it a NAT or route mode, and the second one we call it a NAT mode. Sorry, transparent mode. So how does it works? Generally, in simple terms, if you want to understand, a NAT mode or routed mode means a firewall will work in a layer 3 mode. A firewall will work in a layer 3 mode. It doesn't mean that firewall will not do a layer 7 inspections, or a firewall will not do UTM inspections or anything. How firewall forwards the traffic? Okay, inspection mode, both modes, the transparent or a NAT mode, both mode will work on a layer 7 inspection mode. But how does a firewall forward the traffic? In a NAT or routed mode, firewall will forward the traffic based on a layer 3. Layer 3 means firewall will forward the traffic based on IP addresses. Okay, but in a transparent mode, a firewall will forward the traffic on based on layer 2 addresses, which means based on the MAC addresses. So generally, you can say a transparent mode of firewall works based like a switches, and the NAT mode or routed mode firewall works as a router. Apart from this, a NAT or routed or transparent mode, both modes work, or both modes will do a layer 7 inspection, which means a web filtering, a URL control, application control, or your antivirus control, or if you say IPS IDS signatures. Everything works on both the firewalls or both the modes of the firewalls. Okay, is it clear? Okay, so now let us go to a theory again. What is written in our theory? Let us see. So a FortiGate can operate in one or two modes. One mode is called transparent mode, other mode is called a NAT mode. In transparent mode, the FortiGate is installed between the network or internal network and the router. In this mode, the FortiGate does not need any changes of IP address and only applies security scanning to a traffic. When a FortiGate is added to a network in a transparent mode, no network changes are required except to provide FortiGate with the management IP address. Transparent mode is usually used primarily when there is no need of increased network protection, but there is a need of increased network protection, but changing the configuration of network is impractical. Okay, so now let us see what does it says. Assume I am having the environment which was already running or pre-existing environment. Okay, suppose I am having a router which is connected to my ISP. Then I am having a layer 3 switches or a layer 2 switches, doesn't matter to us for now. Then I am having some more access switches, and to access switches I am having a users connected. Now this would be one layer 3 network, suppose 100.1.1.0/30. This would be again our LAN side. Again there would be one layer 3 network, 192.168.1.0/24, and this can be extended to our users also. Now my network, everything is running fine. Users are getting a IP address, or users are having a gateway from my router 192.168.1.1. This would be used as a gateway on the router or our user sides. Okay, now my company wants like everything is working fine, network everything is working fine, but there is no security, right? If we want to do a security, or we want to do inspection, URL filtering, application control, or we want to do IPS signatures, anything, not possible because we don't have a firewall in our environment. Correct? Is it clear? Now I wanted to deploy a firewall. So firewall can be deployed in between this or in between this. So how does the firewall changes happens in our environment? Let us see now. So similarly, there would be ISP. Okay, then ISP link can be terminated on firewall. Okay, but in this case a firewall would be running as a layer 3 device. Okay, because we need a IP address on this interface. This should be a layer 3 interface, and then a LAN would be connected to our router, and our router would be connected to our switches. In this, how many changes I need to do? Assume this is a pre-existing network or running network, and my company wants to deploy a firewall. So there would be multiple changes I need to do, right? Change number 1, router. This is our WAN router, right? Router IP / routing changes. Then second, firewall IPs. We need to configure firewall from scratch. So IPs, routing, then policies. So this would be the couple of changes we need to do. First thing, see, previously public IP was configured on a router. Now between router and a firewall, we would be having a separate subnet. Suppose this is my again different subnet 192.168.100.0. This would be used between a router and a firewall for a routing purpose, right? Because still the LAN side or a gateway of a users would be 192.168.1.1. Now from a router I need to send the traffic out, right? So I need one more subnet from a router to my firewall, a L3 subnet. That would be big headache for our environment, right? Even if I deploy a firewall here also in a layer 3 mode, then I need to do multiple changes in my environment. Let us see, if we do a deployment of a firewall from a router to a switch in a layer 3 mode, how many changes I need to do in that environment. Okay, let us see. ISP, then no problem, ISP would be terminated on a router. Okay, so before changes, let us see what was the IP addresses, or before firewall integrated. Assume this is a port number 0. Let me type this is port number 0, this is port number 1. Okay, so before changes, what was happening? Router side, port number 0 was having a public IP 100.1.1.1/30, and port number 1 was having 192.168.1.1/24, right? And the switch side, suppose this is a L2 switch, we don't do any changes on L2 switch, doesn't matter to us. Then a gateway would be, this particular IP would be used as a gateway, right? Now after changes, what will happen? After firewall deployed, between switch and router. Okay, assume there was no router, there was no firewall previously, there was only switch. Okay, so router IP was directly coming to switch, and switch is going to our L2 switches, and that is going to our users, right? Now after a switch is deployed in our environment, how many changes we need to do? Let us see. So now first change, the physical connection, it will not directly go to a switch now. There would be firewall in picture. Okay, now see, this will go to this, and this will go to this. Now still this particular IP cannot be used at a router end, because this is a gateway, right? This was used as a gateway previously. Users, now users are directly connecting to firewall, they are not connecting to router now. So after changes, what will happen? First change, router port 1. Suppose we are using a different subnet now from a router to firewall, we need to use anyhow one layer 3 subnet, because our firewall is in a layer 3, right? So this subnet, suppose I am using again 192.168.100.0/24. So first setting would be router port 1. I need to use different IP 192.168.100.1. Then a router side, I need to use a LAN routing towards a firewall, which would be 192.168.1.0/24, pointing towards a firewall. Then I need to deploy a firewall firewall I need to configure both, suppose this is my port number 1, this is my port number 2 in a firewall. So I need to configure both the ports, port number 1 and port number 2. 1, port 2. Then I need to do a routing from a firewall. Then I need to do policies. There are a lot of changes happening, right? When we are deploying a layer 3 firewall in the existing network, we need to take care of this particular changes, right? It is not like it is not recommended or it is not the correct choice. See, it depends on if you can do all these changes, this is the best approach and this would be taken place. But sometimes you cannot do routing changes, or you cannot integrate, or you cannot add a new subnet, right? See, when we are deploying a firewall in a layer 3, we are adding a new subnet in our environment, correct? That is a big headache for us. When we don't have a priority, or when we don't have a leverage to add a new subnet, what we need to do, there is another solution. Instead of deploying a firewall in a layer 3, we will deploy a firewall in a layer 2, which is transparent mode. Okay, in transparent mode, let us see what will happen. If I deploy a firewall in a transparent mode, again I would be having a ISP connected to my router. Okay, then my router connected to a firewall. 1 minute. Then firewall connected to our switches. Okay, here, but the changes are still this 192.168.1.1 IP would be on a router only. This would be the gateway for our users, and still the public IP would be on a router only, 100.1.1.1. There should be no routing. Routing is not required. No routing required at a firewall end. Okay, and this would be the gateway for our users. Firewall will only send or receive a traffic based on the MAC addresses. Okay, firewall will forward the traffic based on the MAC addresses, and at a firewall end we need only one IP that will not be assigned to any interface. That would be management IP of a firewall. Okay, just to access a firewall, or to take a firewall access from a GUI or CLI. That is the only IP we need. Apart from that, we need a policies. Policies would be by default needed if you go for a transparent mode or NAT mode, whatever mode you go. So here what we are doing, we are not adding any of the new network in our environment, right? Or new subnet in our environment. Is it correct? When we are deploying in a transparent mode, we are not adding any of the subnet. We are using existing subnets only, and we don't need any additional subnet in our environment. Okay? Is it clear? Hello?
Yeah, clear.
Okay. Let us go then. So this is the use of our transparent mode firewall. Then 1 minute. Let us go to theory again. Then in a NAT mode or routed mode, FortiGate unit is installed as a gateway or a router between two networks. This allows the FortiGate to hide the IP address of the private network using a network address translation and all. So whenever you install a firewall in a NAT mode, your firewall would be acting as a layer 3 network, and you can do a NATing or whatever things in a NAT mode. But there are some limitations in a transparent mode. Transparent mode will not do IP based forwarding, or transparent mode will forward based on the MAC addresses, right? So routing is not possible. Suppose in your environment you wanted to do BGP routing, or you wanted to do basic static routing also, or you wanted to do NATing on a firewall, then a transparent mode is not a good choice. A transparent mode only recommended when you want to do security policies, you don't want to do routing or forward traffic based on the NAT forwarding and all, then transparent mode is not recommended way. Okay, there are no IP addresses on the interfaces or anything. Okay, okay, then let us go to our lab. Let us see how does it works. Okay, then what I will do, we will use the same lab. I will stop this. We don't need this anymore now. So 1 minute, hold on. Hide this, delete this. Assume I am having a ISP router, I am having a WAN switch. Okay, we don't need this switch also anymore. Delete this, delete this link. Now we are having a ISP router, we are having a switch, we are having a user. Okay, connect this. This was our environment, everything was working fine. Okay, this is user IP. 1 minute, let me open. So what we are going to do, at the ISP router E0/0, I will configure IP address 192.168.1.1/24, and that would be used as a gateway for our users. Okay, let us see. Config T interface Ethernet 0/0 IP address 192.168.1.1. No shutdown. Show IP interface brief. Okay, 1.1 is there, 100.204 is there. Done. End. Now see, my environment is working fine. I am having a users who will go to my router and they will go to internet. Now at any given time, let us see first if you can go to internet. This is my management PC. Let us wait. Okay, let me open it again. Okay, let me try to go to internet now. First I'll try to ping my gateway 192.168.1.1. Not pinging. Let us see what is happening. 1.100 destination host unreachable, it says. Okay, 1 minute, let us see on a switch site. So VLAN brief. Do we have any VLANs? No. Done. There is nothing to do on a switch site. It is not pinging. R-A. There is no ARP happening from there. Let us wait. Let me disable and enable again, because it is directly connected and it is not pinging for us now. Let us wait. Oh, this router had some issue. Router is not working properly. Let us wait. me wipe all the configuration in a router. Wipe. First I need to stop, then I will wipe the configuration and we'll do configuration again, then we'll see. Meantime, IOL L3 ISP1. Okay, let me power on this also, because this is not working, some issue with this image now. Let us wait for 2 minutes. Oh. Okay, this is coming up now, so we will configure this issue. This image is not working, let it be. Let us remove this, let us delete this. Wipe all the configuration, delete. Just give me 1 minute, guys. This lab got stuck. Set up stop all nodes. Then we'll do one thing. We'll destroy this lab. Some issue happened with this lab. Let us go. We'll prepare another lab. Give me 1 minute. Okay. Okay, it will work now. We need to do configuration from scratch. We'll do it in 2 minutes. No IP. Okay. Config T. Interface Ethernet 0/0. IP address 192.168.1.1. No shutdown. Okay. Then IP NAT inside. Interface Ethernet 0/1. IP NAT outside. Exit IP access list standard 1. Permit 192.168.1.0. IP NAT inside source list 1. interface Ethernet 0/1 overload. Done. Let me try to ping the dot 200. Okay, internet is working from a router now. Let us enable a PC. We need to configure IP on a PC again. Let me configure it quickly. Okay, done. Okay, close this. Let us try to ping a gateway first. We are able to ping. Let us try to ping a internet now. We are able to ping. Now see, in my environment, everything is working fine. There is no issue. Suppose this is my office environment. I am having a internet router. This is my ISP internet router. I am having a switch and I am having a users. Okay, a user sending a traffic to a router is sending traffic to out, right? So everything is working fine, but there is no security in my environment. If I go to any random site, whatever site I wanted to go, it is a malicious site or it is a proxy site, whatever site I go, everything is working fine. It is like allow any is available now. There is no security in my environment now. So what my management or what my security engineers decided, we need some type of firewall. Now suppose I install a firewall in a layer 3. What I need to do, I need to change the IP address on this particular interface. Then I need to do a IP configuration on my firewall. Then I need to do a routing on a firewall. Then I need to change the routing on my layer 3 router also. There would be lot of changes, right? So what they decided, instead of deploying in a layer 3, they will deploy a firewall in a layer 2 between this. Then there would be no routing changes. There would be no users will not be needed to do any changes in the users PCs and all. Nothing would be required now. Okay, so let us deploy a firewall in a layer 3 environment in our network now. So we need to delete this. We'll take this firewall, we'll place in between. Done. Only thing is physical changes we need to do, and at a firewall level we need to do minor changes. 1 minute. What I will do, first port number 1 we will connect to switch for a management purpose, and the port number 2 we will connect to this. Okay, done. Now this is the only thing. Now we will configure a firewall in a layer 2 environment. By default, when you have a firewall, it would be in a transparent mode. So we need to change from a transparent to router. Sorry, whenever you have a firewall, it would be in a routed mode. You need to change a mode from a routed to transparent mode. Okay. So how to do that? I have given a commands. So first, like a config system interface, there would be one FortiLink link which will be used for a Forti switches management. You need to disable this first. Let us do this. Config system interface, edit FortiLink link, unset FortiLink link. 1 minute, guys. Done. Then change a mode from a NAT mode to transparent mode. So how to do that? And then config system settings, set operation mode. 1 minute, my bad. Config system settings, set operation mode. We would be having a 2 modes in our operation. One would be NAT mode, which is by default mode. Then one would be transparent mode. Suppose you wanted to check what is the current mode, you can check it like there would be a command available like get system status. Let us see, get the system status. So what is the default mode available? Let us see where it would be. Operation mode. The default operation mode would be a NAT mode in our environment. So now let us change again. Config system settings. Set the operation mode. We will say I wanted to make it a transparent mode. Once you give this command, you need to give a management IP to your firewall. Set to management IP. I will say 192.168.1.50 we will use. Then /24. Then gateway we need to say what is our firewall gateway. 192.168.1.1. Done. We have done this. And the firewall would be changed from NAT mode to transparent mode, changing to TP mode, right? Now we can take a firewall access using this particular IP. So we will take firewall access from port number 1, config system interface, edit port 1, set allow access. Whatever services we need to allow, we can allow it on this particular port. Done. Now still my user will not be able to get the internet because we need a firewall policy. You see, there would be no internet. So now let us go and quickly configure a firewall policies. Apart from firewall policy, we don't need to do major changes in our environment now. So 192.168.1.50. This would be my firewall IP now. Never, later. Don't show this again. Okay. So first what I will do, I'll just give the name to interfaces. Okay, before that let us see what is the operation mode now. If you see, the mode is operation. So now what are the changes you will see in this particular mode? If you go to network, you will not see any routing or anything. You will just see interface. That's all. There would be no static routing configuration. There is no BGP configuration. There is no OSPF configuration or anything when you are in a transparent mode. Okay, that is one change. Then let us go to interface. See, when we are in NAT mode, you see we have option to give IP address to interface, right? But in this mode there is no option to give IP address to interfaces. Okay, there would be no interface IP given to any of the device or any of the interface in a transparent mode. I am just giving the name like alias name. Same thing we will do for a port number 2 also. We will say this would be going to WAN site. I'll just enable ping on this also. Done. Okay. Now apart from this we don't need to do any routing or changes or anything. Let us go to policy and object, firewall policy now. I'll create one policy. Policy configurations, it would be more or less similar only. I will say LAN to WAN policy. What would be my incoming interface? LAN. What would be my outgoing interface? WAN. My source addresses, as of now I will give all. You can, okay, we will create an address object. We'll say LAN subnet. What is my LAN subnet? 192.168.1.0/24. Done. Then destination, when we are going to internet, we usually give all. Services will give all. There is no NAT option available because there will be no NAT when you are in a transparent mode. Okay, logging, all sessions login. Done. Now we enable LAN to WAN policy. Let us see if we can go to internet now. Once we enable LAN to WAN policy, we are able to go to internet, right? So if I do a continuous ping and I disable this policy, what will happen? We'll say set status to disable for time being. Let us see what will happen. Once I disable, I will not get the internet, right? Once I again enable this, set status enable, I will start getting a internet in couple of minutes, right? So policies configuration, everything will work as usual, but only thing is you don't need to do any routing. NAT will not be possible in this particular mode. Only thing is you need to play with the security policies, and this mode is only used when you want a security features but you don't want any routing headache in a firewall. Okay, is it clear? Hello. Hello, Rick. Am I audible? Hello. Hello, Rick. Am I audible to you? Hello, hello, hello.